Live from the Injured on the Go Just Call Mo studio.
It's a blast!
It's Orlando's own Tom and Dan.
Welcome to Corporate Tom and Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We're live on YouTube and Twitch, and we'd love if you head over there and like and subscribe our live stream. It's what podcasts do now.
The Orlando Science Center is doing their kids' night at the museum this Saturday.
Yeah, little Teddy Roosevelt running through the hall.
And basically, it's your opportunity to, get some babysitting through the night and go out with your spouse.
Yeah, the Science Center
They
drop-offs.
get fed.
Yeah, the drop-offs are something that, and it's better than having some teen that's just going to be on a device that doesn't care whether your child burns alive in your house, babysitting, when you could just drop them off at the Science Center and have them enriched.
Or
Is that too dark? That was a little dark.
It's when you leave the kids at home, all they jump on their screens and then they play screens for 5 hours.
Exactly.
And it's like, okay.
So you can take them to the Science Center where they can be on their screens all night.
if they'll learn, no.
That's a joke.
Can do they? I bet they could bring screens, but they're entertaining them.
I'll be real with you.
They feed them pizza.
You
too.
think I'm an honest man, right? I shouldn't have asked that. Regardless, I feel like if the Science Center, if they had a problem case, you hand them a screen. I feel like you have to.
I wouldn't blame them.
No, me neither. I mean, I thank you for your service, Science Center. But yeah,
but they're entertaining them, they're educating them, and
enriching
they feed
their
them.
lives.
Yeah. And so, but you have to get tickets, osc.org. And it's this Saturday, kids' night at the museum.
There you go.
So we talked about this yesterday, and there was an update in the whole Marcus Jordan arrest, and the Bodycam footage is out.
Yeah. It was just kind of like we knew what had gone on. We knew the details.
Well, I didn't know one really important detail that he was on the train tracks.
Well, I thought I said that.
I don't know. Maybe I missed it.
I told you that. And then, because your argument was, why not just get a driver?
Yeah.
And then I made the joke, well, then your driver's dumb and he gets you on the tracks.
Well, when you said that, I didn't understand that he was literally
on the tracks.
But off-road, like on the gravel part of the track. Like, so,
in one of my favorite SUVs. Not a lot of people like that Lamborghini SUV. I like it because it's kind of ugly. I sort of like it. It's like a non-assuming Lamborghini.
Yeah.
But it's still like $107,000, SUV.
But don't you want the flash? You don't want to see a SUV and then not know it's a Lamborghini. Like when you see a Lamborghini, you're like, oh, that's a Lamborghini.
I like the weird sleeper things. Like I'm weird.
Subtle,
okay,
I'm subtle,
not
expensive.
Really subtle, but I like the weirder things that not everybody has.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's nice.
Yeah, it's bright blue too. And also, did you see the lady that he had in the passenger seat? Holy smokes! Yeah, I mean that is a nice looking woman. Do you want to play a little bit of this?
Yeah.
All right, this is from TMZ. It is edited, so we don't have to do anything
here. So I'll
here.
explain to the people not
tell
watching.
Me when to stop.
The cops walk up. Their cops are walking, like, the gravel on the side of train tracks that like running through the woods or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
like
a
granite or something, right?
It's a gravel chips or whatever.
Yeah, what is that?
I'm not sure what kind of stone it is.
I always assumed as a child it was granite because it's all like sort of uniformly chipped.
Yeah.
And I would pick it up, and it's great for throwing.
Yeah.
And occasionally you'd find one that sort of looked more like quartz.
So they're walking up.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
On Marcus Jordan, and he is half his wheels are on the train tracks, half are off. He's stuck.
It looked like he was trying to ride the tracks, which would be badass, like some Grand Theft Auto stuff.
I know Maitland PD got on. I'm trying to figure out where exactly this is. Because, I know Maitland and Castleberry like the back of my hand.
No, I think he went down.
He turned onto the train tracks because he thought it was a road.
Yes. Yeah. We know what he did. Anybody that's ever been drunk knew what he did.
And I'm trying to think of where their train tracks intersect with a road that you could easily just turn onto, and I can't come up with it.
Is it near Cappy's?
I don't think so, because there's woods on both sides. So it seems like almost like near Longwood. I don't know.
Regardless, he found it.
Okay,
And so
let's play the footage.
And right where you mentioned is right where we kind of pick up. This is courtesy of TMZ.
Hey, you guys good? Yeah, we're trying to. My car's a little stuck right now. I see that. You want to help us? We're gonna try. Huh? We're gonna try.
That's a ballsy move, right? Hey,
Ask
my
him to
car's a
come.
little stuck. You gonna help me? Hey, get over here and help me get this car. My car's stuck. Hey, cops, get over here. My car's stuck. That is a power. That's a good move because I feel like if you're confident and you just start telling the cop what to do, he might go, "Oh, okay."
Maybe. Because it doesn't. He's not acting like someone who.
It's not the first thing I would do.
Assumes. yeah. Like if I'm driving drunk and it turns into
I'd be pooping my pants right now.
Let's just paint a scenario that totally unlikely that I'd ever be driving drunk in Maitland and turn down the train tracks.
No.
But if I did, you see what I'm saying? And I'm on the train tracks and I'm stuck. First thing I'm thinking is I gotta get the hell out of here because if the cops come, for sure DUI, 100%. There's not a chance that I'm gonna get out of this. If the cops get here and see that I drunkenly turned down and I'm stuck, they're going to breathalyze me.
I don't want to interrupt you in any way because is this not, and this is embarrassing to say, but this goes back to emergency whiskey. Is this not a trope of our show? The listener that drives their car, this is embarrassing, but they drive their car someplace and they know they got to this point and you got to go to the bar and you got to sit down at the bar and leave your car on the tracks and then you have to call the non-emergency number and it's an embarrassing thing to say, but this is your only play. And then you have to say, I was driving, I made a wrong turn, my car's stuck on the tracks. I got really upset. I walked down to the porch and I'm having the largest beer I can find because I'm so upset. I need your help.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's how to get out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, not to tell people how to get out of DUI.
You do.
Yeah.
But you got to leave. Like your instincts.
Yeah, once you're stuck, you got to get the hell out of here.
Well, you're a trash person. You have good trash person instincts.
Yeah.
I think our trash person instincts are like to do. I'm not. What do you do? Driving drunk is horrible. You do not do that.
But he did a rich, privileged instinct.
Well, there's
which
another
is,
thing.
Excuse me, please help me get off of this.
Idiots! There's a drunk man stuck in the tracks here. Are you gonna help me out?
My Lamborghini SUV is stuck in the tracks. Are you gonna help me? Like that is the richest, privileged thing I could possibly think of to say.
Well, hold my beer because in this next part, I saw something with his passenger that I was like, well, that's a weird thing that I would never think to do with the police officer. You know, we have a lot of cops that listen to the show.
Yeah.
I got my cop challenge coin on the top of my speaker here. Watch this next part.
What happened?
What happened? How'd you get on the tracks, man? All right, good.
They're shining a flashlight at the car.
Help us try and reverse this thing out. Well, hang on.
Oh, that wasn't slurred at all.
Help us try to reverse this thing out. Yeah.
Whose voice was that? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Is that him?
Yeah, that's Marcus.
Help us try and reverse this thing out.
Help us try to reverse this thing out. Again, I would never think of asking the cops. Like, as soon as the cops showed up, I'm like, I put my hands out. The best case scenario is...
You do the shackle me?
Yeah. The best case scenario, I'm like, okay, they arrest me, I say nothing, I refuse a breathalyzer, and then maybe my lawyer gets me for reckless driving down the road, but he's like, that's best case. I'm not asking for nothing. Like, there's no way. I'm like, hey, help me move this, cops. What the hell are you doing?
Hold on, this is the best part. Now, this is the part that I found weird. We haven't even gotten to it yet. And I bet you think it has to do with Marcus. It doesn't, so just watch. Shining the flashlight.
Come here.
Okay, they're
You
walking.
know the trains come by right now, right? No, I know. That's why I'm trying to get.
He's shining the light in the car.
We thought we were making a right, and I turned onto the.
Okay, shines the light on the girl. He's shining right there. He's shining the light on this beautiful woman in the car. Now watch what she does. This is the most insane thing I've ever seen. Watch her.
Yeah.
Dude, put the window up. If you no one can do that. The police officer puts a light on you, and you go, oh my god, and you just put your window up.
Yeah. Well, she not like us. Super Bowl.
She not. Don't just yell.
Sorry, I'm looking at bets all morning.
She not like a Super Bowl. Did you give me a boom shakalaka on the end of that?
Yeah. Like that's not.
She put her window up, dude. Who puts her window? Have you ever done? Look, I'm a white guy in America, and I've been pulled over maybe 6 times. Maybe. Every single time I've been like pooping my pants, like nervous about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm afraid that I've done something wrong and maybe okay, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm doing bad. Maybe
every time I get pulled over, I did do something wrong, or they can find more wrong.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So I am not doing anything that's causing them to be like, what the hell are you rolling up the window in my face?
The window up thing was shocking. It made me stop the video. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen somebody put the window up on a cop.
Also, I grew up, I don't know if it has to do with where you grew up, but in Miami, I, from start, thought that the corruption existed, that cops weren't out for my best interests. Like, I don't know if it's a Van family
I
thing.
remember when I first met you.
I mean, my family made me skeptical of
of
cops. And, like, you know, so when they pulled me over or, like, investigating anything, I was just like, like, I have to be careful now.
No, I noticed that when I first met you. Like, you were more just from it's just where it is from where you grew up. Absolutely. It has everything to do with where you grew up.
Yeah.
I didn't even really grow up with municipal police. I only grew up with like local sheriffs that you knew. So I had a totally different relationship. Like, I knew several of the sheriffs that were on the force in DeLand.
Like,
Volusia County Sheriff. Like, you would know these guys.
If I got stuck somewhere or whatever and a cop was coming, I ducked down to hide. Because like, I was like, well, if they come, they're going to start asking a lot of questions.
I'm screwed.
And be mad that whatever happened, like, they're going to be mad at me and then try to get me.
God. Do you want any more of this, or are we done with it?
No,
guy.
Well, I want you to get to the part where he says, I'm Michael Jordan's son.
Oh,
because that's another...
Yes, hold on. I almost
because he did pull that.
Yeah,
I'm sure a lot of people wondered if he would, but of course he did.
Here we go.
Bro, I'm Marcus Jordan. I'm Michael Jordan's son.
Oh, wait, he thought he was Michael Jordan the first time. Did you catch that? You catch that? He goes, I'm Michael Jordan. Hold on. I'm Michael Jordan's son. That's great, right? Oh, God, he did it. He did it.
What did the cop say when he said that?
I'm Marcus Jordan. I'm Michael Jordan's son. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just trying to get home.
He gave them what I call the Irish cop. He's like, okay. You know, like, so say it. Say, I'm Michael Jordan. I'm Michael Jordan's son.
Marcus Jordan, Michael Jordan's son.
Okay, get in the car. All right.
Because, again...
Dismissive Irish police officer.
That's not going to work now because the body cam footage has been on for, 8 minutes already. So they're not going to be able to be like, oh, let me turn this off now. And then somehow you crash into someone. They're like, oh, wait a minute. You pulled... it's all going to come back to them. They can never let anybody go anymore.
I got to find this bigger cop because he has the best zinger. Because at one point, Marcus says, you're worried about me. Why are you worried about me? And the cop says, well... because there's alcohol coming off of you, and your car is on the tracks. It's like
and we throw this thing in reverse.
Well, I've already got concerns for your level of impairment anyways, okay? So that's why. Because, like, it's not alcohol coming from you, and you're on train tracks.
Why? What are you going to do?
I don't do nothing. Oh,
my God.
I do like being surprised. I'm like, what are you suspicious of?
Yeah.
It was like, you are in the middle of the train tracks.
And I do love this cop's answer is really direct.
Because, like, it's not alcohol coming from you, and you're on train tracks.
Because it's alcohol coming from you, and you're on the train tracks.
Yeah, you're also driving a Lamborghini SUV. And you're Michael Jordan's son, which you just already told me. So I imagine that you like to party. Because we saw pictures of you doing coke in France.
On the internet. And then it all came out that, there's tons of... this is all over the news. So then it all came out, and I guess he admitted to the cops that his last stop, where do you think his last stop? If you live in the Maitland area, you should know this. If you were going to be a big time, if you're going to be the Justin Bieber of Maitland, as you've called yourself many, many times, which I wouldn't call myself anymore, because have you seen him lately? Holy smokes. That guy. He looks like Kratom Carey now.
He does look gaunt.
Yeah, I'm worried about him, and I'm not going to make fun of him, because I think he does have... Lyme disease or something. Man, it could be like tearing up his body or something. Yeah, leave him alone. Good Lord. But he should wear pants that fit.
Well, the fanciest castle in
the berries.
Maitland
In the berries.
the berries.
Yeah, where do you think?
And the most fancy establishment.
Where would your last stop be? You're the king of Castleberry.
That I could think of, which is directly across from an RV store, is Rachel's.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Rachel's Steakhouse.
long live the king! You are the true king of Castleberry.
And
Wow.
Gentleman's Club.
You got it right. Yeah, well, thank you. It is a steakhouse and gentleman's club.
Yeah. I mean...
That is the cherry on top, is it not? It's the cherry on top.
Again...
Was one of the girls a stripper? Who was she? We got to find out who she was.
It is a testament to how nice our community is that Michael Jordan's son chooses to spend a lot of time here.
Yeah, we have the best cocaine, dude.
He could go anywhere. And I imagine South America has the best cocaine and lots of places in Europe. And, it's odd that he's like, oh, I'm going to get wasted, go to Rachel.
Do you call your dad?
He's like doing the same thing.
You call your dad?
My yard guy does for his birthday.
No, your yard guy don't get caught. Seriously. Yard guys don't get caught with cocaine.
Yeah, they're way better at driving drunk than Marcus Jordan.
You would never catch like any of the yard guys that party like this. They're never getting caught.
So what I find interesting is you would think that if you're Marcus Jordan and you've been a celebrity since birth, right? Michael Jordan's son has been a celebrity since birth.
Yeah. Well, you had a contract. Let's not forget he had a contract that disrupted UCF's Adidas contract.
Yeah.
Like the guy has been a headline maker since a child.
And so you would think there would be multiple conversations within the family because like Jordan's worth billions. He's been around celebrity and wealth and lawyers and like people that know what they're doing, right? Like I'm sure Michael Jordan has lots of different lawyers that he's hung out with, right?
And he owns race teams, and sports franchises.
Lawyers are involved.
Yeah.
You
and
think
CPAs and accountants. Life coaches, managers.
Yeah, all that. And not one
gurus, yoga people.
Anybody told Marcus Jordan throughout his life, like, hey, here's some tips about how not to get arrested.
Don't ride dirty, like around Orlando or places that you're partying.
But even that, it's like if you do, here's what you do after the police show up, which is, and what I've heard from all lawyers is shut the F up and let them collect the evidence. Don't give them evidence.
I think you're underestimating how powerful and how good it feels to tell people you're Michael Jordan's son. You know what I mean?
That must have worked before, for sure.
Yes. Well, that of course.
But you would think, though, like I've been in trouble before. My lawyer said shut the F up, and if I crash my car randomly, get the hell out of there. Like, don't wait for the car. I don't know.
This isn't his first time either, right?
It's crazy.
And obviously, the stigma of being a known illegal drug user, right? I'm not saying anything bad about it. I don't know the guy, right? I mean, just because you do some cocaine, I don't think that necessarily makes you a bad person.
Well, he's a known illegal drug user.
No, but he is. So I'm just saying, so as a known illegal drug user, he must not care about that stigma, right?
Yeah.
Like
he didn't bother to throw the cocaine in the bushes that were 10 feet from him.
Right. So,
he kept it in his car.
My point is
entitled.
to go back to what you're saying. The France video that I had to go and find. It was a video they had, like, or what? Like, that is so damning that, like, after that, he didn't have one of those, like, I got to change my life moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember, like, Cameron Diaz smoked weed out of an apple, like, in the early 2000s. I think she had a change my life moment. She's like,
because everybody attacked her?
Yeah. She's like, I got to change my life. I smoked weed out of an apple. I got to change my life.
How funny is that was a huge deal?
It's like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years.
Who was it? Clinton that said he's nailed it. Never nailed it. But it's like a big controversy.
Oh, my God.
God, times have changed. Anyway, all right, let's take a break. When we come back, we got a Weird Job Wednesday. Daniel composed. I'm going to start saying composed for the AI
I don't even
song.
know if that is...
That's a correct verbiage, I think.
I don't know.
You composed an AI song, a new Weird Job that's really good.
I mean, as far as I know, I just typed a few things in. But yeah, we'll have that and more when we return.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Let's do some Weird Jobs.
All right. I'm going to give you guys a choice. Well, you know what? I'm giving you no choice. I'm going to present you a new Weird Job Wednesday theme song that I worked on really, really hard. Now, when I say worked on really, really hard, I'm getting a lot better with my prompts on AI, and I wanted to give you like a wicked Broadway Rent style big show kind of a stopper with different voices and background noises and actors and like you can almost hear the Broadway action. And I think I was actually able to get pretty close So through working through, multitudes of prompts, and I'm just hemorrhaging money throwing it, because every time you do one of these, it's like $6, and this took about 100 tries.
Okay, well,
yeah. So
well,
don't
that's
look,
$600.
Yeah, don't look at the MasterCard. So here we go. This is our latest weird job. Let's do it.
Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really liked it. Oh, yes, he did. Tom said that's bullshit. Just another
That's you evil
Weird
laughing.
Job Wednesday.
That was you evil laughing.
Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower, looking down on all the people that are working by the
I love this harmony here.
Weird Job Wednesday. Just another weird job.
People flying out of cannons. Here come the little people. Everybody's dancing. Here comes Glinda. Here comes Glinda. Okay, here comes you. Here comes you. You're the wizard. And you come down. You're descending. This is you. You're gonna do a run here. You're gonna sing. This is your big. This is your big finale.
Thank you, Tom.
We're dancing. Bring it back down. Bring it back down. Bring it back down. This is your big final. This is your finale. Sing it, Tom.
Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another weird job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah! 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 Yeah!
That's insane.
Yeah! Oh,
Think about,
woo!
like, if someone's like,
God, imagine that at Dr. Phillips, dude. That'll blow your tits off. I can't say that. Can't say that. That would blow your tits off, though. It would.
if someone was like, make this into a Broadway musical, now you could do it with, I mean, how long did that really take you?
Well, I mean, like in massaging the prompts, that probably took about 40 minutes.
Okay, yeah, so the worst case scenario, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And you get what would have taken someone, I mean, if someone was just given that concept, like to put that together and then have someone perform it, it would.
Okay, here's the bad part.
7 or 8 months.
Here's the bad part. Let me give you the bad part. Sometimes it creates horrible things, like what I'm about to show you. I have, with any good mad scientist, when you're in your laboratory working on things, some things come out great, and sometimes you create some monsters. And I created, I'm sorry I'm a little winded from that dance number, but I created what I'm calling the Doogie Howser 3000.
All right.
I created a digital David Jolly.
Okay.
I created a special needs digital black guy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is digital David Jolly. This is a monster.
Weird Job Wednesday. Woo, woo, woo. What you doing? What's your job?
Stacking checks, clocking in,
Are you neat? Are you tidy?
fresh and clean, silver me,
Or are you a fast slob?
big belly, extra message,
Do you make lots of money?
bankroll,
Stand up, get in your top.
I'm looking down on spots.
Should keep a working hours.
Want so hard, 9 to 5.
Just another Weird Job Wednesday. It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, a Weird Job Wednesday.
That Buddy Jones.
Let you come.
I think he says booty juice in there one time. I heard booty juice.
What prompt was that? Like a acapella?
That was my elbow on the keyboard. And do you want to get to our weird job guest? Ladies and gentlemen, on the line with us is Cara. Hey, Cara.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good.
So, Cara, tell us about your weird job.
Okay, well, I don't know which one you wanted me to chit-chat about, my actual job or my weird sort of...
Let's start with your actual job about the plastic.
Okay, so I actually work for a large grocery retailer, and I work with their suppliers on helping reduce their plastic waste.
All right.
So I talk to grocery suppliers all day long and teach them how to use software to input their data because they're collecting data to see what different items in the grocery store are made out of certain kind of plastic, so they can capture how much they sell and then equate that to like a gross tonnage. And then they're changing, like we're going to change from this plastic to this different packaging, and then they can show that they have reduced their waste. And this also helps with compliance as different states pass laws for how, like, what has to be made out of recycled plastic and whatnot.
So who pays for that? Is it like...
Oh, that's Tom's way of saying he thinks it's stupid.
No, I'm just wondering, is it the grocery store? Is it a third-party company?
I'm being paid by the grocery store.
Thank God, I thought you were going to say China. And I was like, oh, my God, I knew it. I knew it. I knew you're one of them.
Technically, it is a European company that does own a U.S. branch, if that makes sense.
What benefit is it to the grocery stores to like have the people making the products with less plastic?
It has to be compliant with laws that different states have passed. As far as like in New Jersey, any beverage that's sold now as starting of January 1st has to be like a certain percentage of recycled plastic. But then also it does help on just like, I think one thing that this job has like shown me is just like how much actual waste there is. And just by making simple tweaks on what things are packaged in does really make a difference. Like if you think about,
it's kind of like me and weight loss, you know. I've started taking the stairs, and just a simple taking the stairs, I'm down about 3.5 inches on my waistline.
Exactly.
It's baby steps, Cara. It's baby steps, right? I mean, we're all in this
together. Don't get thrown off, Cara.
We're all in this together, more the same than we are different.
But it is, I mean, it is kind of in a way, it's kind of a boring job, but I like it because I do work from home. I don't have like a set schedule, and I can just I just have to email these suppliers and sometimes take calls with them, and they're just sharing their screen with me, and I'm just teaching them how to input data. That's all I'm really doing.
Hold on a second. You could steal their money. This is what the Indian people do to old people. They share the screen, and then you get them to click the thing, and then you take their money.
Yeah,
that's a lot of trust that these people put in you, Cara.
I'm going to start asking this question to every work-from-home employee that we interview. Is it what
they did for my colonoscopy?
No,
Do you have diarrhea? Yes. Goodbye.
Cara, for a prize money of $1 million, could you get through a full year with only doing 40 hours of actual work without getting fired? That's the caveat to this.
40.
Like the bet is, if I bet you $1 million, you can only do 40 hours of actual work, but you have to be employed by this same company a year later. Like you can push it off or like fake, scam whatever you want, but you only can do 40 hours of work. Could you do that?
I could do it for a couple months, not a year.
No, right.
And
that's an honest answer.
Okay.
And this is coming from the guy who hates hypotheticals. You know how hard it is for him to give you a hypothetical? He hates hypotheticals.
I've had 2 jobs at once before from home, and neither of the companies knew about the other.
Who gets the butt?
So, all right.
Hey, that's what I'm here for.
By the way, I've asked another person this, and they said, oh, yeah, I could do it. 40 hours the whole year?
Yeah.
Anyway, so, Cara.
You're not talking about my wife, are you?
So let's talk about plastic for a second, because my sons watch Mark Rober and Mr. Beast, and I did come in contact or come across his clean up the oceans thing, which I will say.
You talking about Mr. Beast?
You mean, yeah, or like
Yeah.
Mark Rober got into it with him and some
Anytime
other YouTubers.
Mr. Beast has one of those Tom and Dan straw hats on, I know he's going to talk about the ocean. It's facts. It's facts. Anytime you see Mr. Beast with a big straw hat on, he's at the beach.
And of all things, like I do like that he picked cleaning up the oceans and putting in because you could actually see a difference. You're like, oh wow, that's a lot of trash. No, yeah, I guess
I mean,
you're
has
right.
he been to our oceans? What ocean is he cleaning up? He's not in Florida. He must be doing California.
Well, the worst,
and that is burning.
The worst, offenders are different countries.
Yeah.
And there's one apparently
We're gonna build an ocean wall.
There's some village that just trashes up this river, and it's just a river of trash just going into the ocean. And it's like, oh my God.
I want to see that.
And
talk about tourism, vacations. I want to go to see the trash river.
And the plastic trash is the most disheartening for whatever reason because it's unnatural. And you're just like
I've thought about
tires are better to me than plastic. Like floating Lunchable containers seem worse than tires.
All it is, and I figured this out one night when I was really high.
Yeah.
It's just because all the plastic has goofy, crazy colors, like this Mountain Dew bottle is lime green. If they started making all the plastic look like wood, we'd be fine with it.
Make it all blue like the ocean.
Actually,
now we're doing hacky stand-up here.
Sorry, go ahead, girl.
The color of plastic actually does matter. Like if you notice, like Sprite used to be in green plastic, but now it's not anymore. It's in clear because it's easier to recycle clear plastic. And so like certain things you might notice in the grocery stores, you're not going to see a lot of black plastic as much anymore because black plastic absorbs light, and so it can't be sorted in recycle centers because it's invisible to infrared sensors.
Huh.
So that's like a weird thing that you see. Like you'll see less black plastic. We're going to white plastic.
White plastic.
I was waiting to see. Did you notice I was quiet? Did you notice I was waiting to see? I was waiting to see. I was like, is he going to take it? It was like fishing. It was like fishing. I was like sitting there. I felt like I was back at the cabin in Georgia. I was like, I'm fishing, I'm waiting, looking for a bite.
Cara, what's the worst egregious packaging you've seen? Where it's like,
oh, you know what I love? I buy it. I buy these sometimes with Maisie. It's those reveal balls. It's like a ball, and it's like you open the ball, like it's wrapped in a million levels of like that plastic that you use a hairdryer to suction around.
Okay, yeah.
It's wrapped in 45 different levels of plastic wrap, and you open all of those as a puzzle, and then you fold open the plastic, and you open each one of these little orange slice, like little triangles, and then you pull out a bunch of plastic crap. It's all plastic. The whole thing is toxic.
I like when the pile of plastic that it comes in is like 5 times the size
that's
of
what
the
I'm talking
actual.
about. I forget what these things are called. I wish Andrea was in the chat room, but I forget what they're called. But they're like a reveal, like a blind box toy.
God, I hate plastic.
Me
like
too.
the whole playroom, my kid's playroom is piled with plastic, and I look at it disgusted by it.
I know, and they love it. They love it so.
Anyway, what's the worst egregious plastic?
Laminates. Laminates are they can't be recycled. Those, think of like a box of crackers, and it comes in like a bag. Those bags usually are laminates, so they're different layers. So it'll have like maybe a metal, like a foil layer, and then a plastic layer,
yes,
and things like that. Yeah, they can't be recycled. So those are some of the worst things.
So do you have any effect on any of the manufacturers as far as like getting them to change it at the source?
Yes. Yeah. So the goal of this project is to, like I said, identify where the worst plastics are and like see if they only sell like, I don't know, 100,000 units of that a year, that's not that big of a deal. But if they sell like millions of them, then that's a problem. So I've seen them change. Like one of the big things are like styrofoam containers. Like I know that in the grocery store that I do help, they no longer have like the styrofoam like mushroom holders. So they're made out of molded fiber, which is just recycled cardboard. So those are things that will break down. And they also do that. They have also switched that in their in the meat department as well. So instead of having like the styrofoam trays, lots of times they're made out of like cellulose container, like plant fiber, or and like cardboard.
Yeah, I've seen the ones now that are like molded so they can be recycled. And I kind of like them better because they don't make that weird squeaky noise that meat makes because of the styrofoam.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
And my wife buys these cage-free fancy eggs.
Yeah.
And you open them, and then there's another plastic cover on top of that. It's two plastic
it's
covers.
like the Pepperidge Farm bread.
And then I look at it, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure these two plastic covers are doing more damage than any chickens in cages anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, like this.
But that was the contract. The chickens wanted the extra flaps in order to lay the eggs cage-free.
Cara, before we run out of time, I'm curious about your side hustle. So tell us about that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've got like 20. But one of the ones is driving the Amish around. So my parents live out in the country, and they do live in an Amish community. And sometimes we drive the Amish places that they can't get to. Like maybe like to go see a doctor, or like just to go into town where it might not be safe for them to take their buggy. So oddly enough, my mother is a midwife, and so she's like she's somebody trusted in the Amish community already because they knew her. So then they trust us to drive them somewhere.
So you guys are like
you're
daywalkers.
Amish Uber.
Yeah, you're like Blade.
Yeah,
you can go between worlds.
How do they contact you to?
They put a light in the air like Batman.
Well, actually, it really depends on the bishop and whether or not he's like...
Oh, wait, hold on. Don't say anything, because this is what I want it to be. I want him to have to light a candle in a window, and you have to see it to know they need a ride.
Oh, like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Actually, I know that the particular community that we have helped, they have, this is so insane to me, they literally built like a little like outhouse sort of building on their neighbor's property, and they have a telephone so in that little building. So technically it's not on their property. On the Amish property, it's on their neighbor's
It's the
property.
workaround, like our friend called in and told us about the Jewish community in New York City. Yeah, then it's not real. If you guys are going to have a workaround, it's not real. We went through this with the New York Jewish population.
Don't you think God sees it? Or they're like, you're using the payphone right on next to your property.
God absolutely sees it.
You're trying to trick me?
Yeah.
I'll kill all of you.
Yeah, God will smite you for that. And God, look, here's another thing God sees.
Don't they know?
God sees you take your bonnet off when you're watching Bob's Burgers, and you shouldn't be watching that.
So they're allowed to use the phone off their property.
Yeah, it just depends on
That's cool.
what your particular bishop or your minister in your community, how strict he is on what they do and do not allow. So they will call us and ask if we're able to like take them. So usually it's like just a town and stuff, and the place that they like to go to the most is like Walmart or Aldi.
They like Walmart.
You know what
Walmart's everything. It's against the Amish
but they have everything.
religion.
Dude. Have you been to Walmart? It's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it. Why do you think I love it?
Shouldn't it be the devil compared to them? Like
No.
it's a giant corporation pumping out
but somebody else is driving me.
electronics and like
No, the devil can only jump on your buggy, and my buggy's not there. You don't know any of the Bible. You know none of the Bible.
They're wandering
The
around
only
Walmart
way
as the devil.
The only way the devil can jump on the Amish is if you drive your buggy to the Walmart, then the devil gets on the buggy, and then you take it back to your homestead.
So,
Idiots.
Cara, what do you charge them? Is it like a flat rate, or do you...
I hope you run a meter, but it's an old hand-cranked meter, and you make them crank it by hand. And you're like, this is what you get for not having electricity, you morons.
Honestly, lots of times we just trade. So, like, I might get, like, a flat of strawberries or, like...
Oh, my God, a flat of strawberries? No. I'm not taking you down to the Walmart for a flat of strawberries. Why don't you...
That's $8.
It just depends on what is going on. Like,
why don't
sometimes they
you
do
whip
pay
at
in
that
cash.
buttermilk bush and...
yeah, they're making money. They're making money on the mattresses, the beds.
Yeah,
I
the
see
candles. They sell all those
the
candles.
furniture.
Yeah, and I've seen, you know what, and all their knitting, that's all garbage. I saw this lady online that it was like Amish knit caps. There's a machine that does it, and you crank it, she can make a knit cap in 2 minutes. I'm like, Amish. The jig is up, Amish.
Well, some people don't realize, I mean, lots of the Amish, they have generators and stuff. They'll have generators, and that they turn on to power like
Furman.
tools and
Those
stuff.
Furman
They
generators
do
are
use
good.
like power tools and stuff, which is weird. They don't really.
What's it feel like?
Yeah,
It's gotta
it's-
feel.
Hold on, they just do whatever they want?
Imagine-
Well, what's the rules then?
Everybody just does whatever they want now.
So they have
Haven't you
generators?
seen? Weed's legal.
So they just they power up generators. That's electricity. What the?
Yeah.
Well, what's
Yeah.
the rules
Well, I
then?
mean, you can justify anything.
Yeah, it's-
To whatever
It's
you're-
only for
Well,
your.
then I'm not picking them up anymore. I'll just be able to drive. Just
Yeah.
put your car.
Get your own car. Get a smart car.
Put your truck on the neighbor's yard and then just drive it whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You have the generator. Just get a cell phone then. There's porn.
No, they only use landlines. That is something that the chat room's saying they only use landlines.
Okay, landlines count as
Yeah.
And
fine.
I mean, I can't explain it. I don't know
Yeah.
what they're, that is just how they justify
They're
certain
choosing
things.
to have a terrible life.
All right, Cara. Well, thank
Hey.
you for doing Weird Job with us. We appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Yeah, and I apologize for saying
Here you
buttermilk bush. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine. Can I share with you one weird packaging item that I learned?
I prefer that you not. We'll see you later. No, please.
Listen, so you know that like when you buy meat, like or hamburger or something, that little absorbent pad that is underneath the meat.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
want to know? Guess what that is called?
Is it called a maxi pad?
Yeah.
No, you're close.
Yeah. I call it the meat pad.
Okay, hold on. Don't tell us. Hold on. Meat pad's good.
Which I do hold up. I'm like,
bloody meat
ew.
pad.
I'm like, this is
Yeah.
disgusting.
I usually.
It's a bloody pad.
Yeah,
I'm eating out of it.
I usually hold it up and I go, ew, Mama June. And then my wife
called-
goes, you disgust me.
It's called a meat diaper.
No, it's
Oh,
not.
you're lying.
Hold
Hold
There
on.
you go. Meat diaper.
It's not. Tom said meat pad, and that's way more regular than meat diaper.
It's called a meat diaper.
Yep, I have entered in what the weight of a meat diaper is.
Oh, wow. Would you wrap?
weird
Hey, Cara, would you wrap me in a meat
Rattles
diaper?
around.
Would you
Gross.
swaddle me in a meat diaper?
All right.
Of course.
Okay, thank
Cara,
you. All right, we
bye-bye.
love you. That was the right answer. Okay, we love you, Cara. Get out of here.
Gross.
She's one of my favorite listeners of all time. How would she's pretty young to have done everything that she's ever told us she's done. We have a lot of listeners that are like that.
Yeah, but she's kind of gypsy-ish.
I thought you were saying she's kind of Egyptian or something.
Yeah,
This guy's drunk.
gypsy-ish.
I don't
she,
think you could say that.
Yeah. You can now.
She-
you can
but
definitely
she's like,
can.
didn't she do the cave tours or something?
Yeah, she's doing a lot
done
of
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. I'm telling you, the Amish are close to gypsy too. They'll do a bunch of odd jobs and they're lying to their god. They do whatever they want.
Well, wouldn't it be? Why not just get somebody in a buggy to take you? And then you're not.
Well, you can't take their buggy to Walmart
Why
because
not?
there's no but first the horse doo-doo's all over the ground.
No,
So
they have
it's
those.
Yeah.
Trough. You just put a trough under it.
But then the people are honking at you. It's a big pain in the ass, and they
You
don't
get a
wanna-
gun. You hold your gun.
Yeah.
You ride slowly and hold your gun out.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
won't do anything.
All right, we will see you tomorrow. Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch and YouTube. Go find us at Tom and Dan Live.
Get your tickets for Kids Night at the museum at the
Yes.
Orlando Science Center. It's this Saturday. You can get your tickets at osc.org.
Don't let your kids be bored when you want to go out to a fancy dinner. Drop
Yeah.
them off and let them do something cool.
Yeah.
A great facility that has fun things to do. Better than the iPad.
A bunch of activities. They feed your kid pizza, and you pick them up at the end of the night, like 10 p.m.,
Yes.
and you can go out to dinner
If
with
you
your
remember.
partner.
If you remember.
Yeah.
If you're like me, you fall
Yeah.
asleep
Yeah.
in a parking lot trying to tap your foot
Yeah.
for an anonymous man.
Yeah, and they will call the cops on you
Yeah,
if
they
you
will.
don't pay.
Yeah, they will.
Because I would. I mean, like those parents left their kid
You
here.
know, Andrew and I saw that one time. We were we were taking Maisie to dinner. And it was like on a Friday, and as we were driving past her school, we saw a woman running to aftercare. She's running, like sprinting to aftercare, and then Maisie goes, "Oh, She's cutting it a little close. Even Maisie knows. Even Maisie knows. That's how, they know.
Well, we've all left our kid at school on
Yes.
a Wednesday,
Yeah.
early release.
Oh, Maisie will never let me. She'll never forget it. She brings it up. I did it like years ago. Okay.
All right, so it's the Super Bowl on Sunday.
It is indeed.
And I know that some people don't like us talking football.
I don't think that's
but
true.
It's the
I think-
last time we can because it's the last game of the year for the NFL.
Yes.
And but before we introduce our guest and we go over Super Bowl props, which I wanted to talk about, let me bitch about why we continue to use Roman numerals for the Super Bowl, because I asked Daniel right before we started the show, what Super Bowl is this again?
Why does it matter?
58 or whatever, because
Why
I
do
wanted
you
to say
have to
Super
know,
Bowl 58
But
is
why
this
do you
weekend.
have to know? Why can't you just go like, hey, the Super Bowl's this weekend? Nobody would ever notice that you didn't say the Roman numerals.
So I jumped on Google. I'm like, Super Bowl 2025.
That's where you're wrong. Should have used ChatGPT.
and then it shows me a bunch of pictures of the Super Bowl
Logo
with the Roman numerals.
Yeah, and you're illiterate.
And then I look at it,
Yeah.
and let me ask you, what is the Roman numeral LIX?
Okay.
Wait.
Okay. L-I-X.
Because I look at that and I'm like, well, that doesn't tell me anything. It would if I knew Roman numerals.
L is I and the X. It's 29.
It is not that.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't know. I'd say it doesn't matter to me. I don't need to know. I would just say like, hey, Super Bowl's coming up.
Yeah. That would mean the Super Bowl started in the 90s.
I don't know. I'm just trying to remember
like
what
58 or something.
Then what is it?
On the line with us, he's the Sharp Square, Jeff. How you doing, Jeff?
What's up, buddy?
I'm doing great. It's Super Bowl 59, and I only know Roman numerals because they've been used in the Super Bowl. So I like that I have that knowledge that I'm able to read those useful.
So you're like the slave that learned to read. Yeah.
Well, no, and they're good for nothing else besides the Super Bowl. You understand? That's the only relevant thing we use Roman numerals on ever.
Fancy watches.
Well, then let them have the Super Bowl. What do you got against the Romans and their numerals?
And I got close because I was going I was going like L, that's got to be 20. And then I went X is 10. Everybody knows that. But when the 1 is behind the X, you take 1 away. When it's in front, you add 1 too.
Didn't they kill Jesus?
No. The Romans? Well, yeah. They did.
Well, there it is.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Anyway, how you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing great, guys.
I like that we started our Super Bowl coverage not knowing the number of the Super Bowl and then sprinkling some religion on top.
So,
off to a good start.
We're going to talk props today, but before we get into the props, is there a side you like, Jeff? A side or total in this game? It's the Chiefs minus 1.5. Eagles are plus 1.5. The line really hasn't moved. And the total sits at 49. Anything you like there?
Now, do you know that that's the line? Was it written in Roman numerals? Because I can't really
like
trust
that. Get
you.
him.
I
like that.
You're
Get
the
him.
only one on your side,
Yeah,
Jeff.
insult.
Everybody that's listening hates this.
No. I'm on Jeff's side.
I'm just doing this for my own benefit.
Why does my opinion of Jeff not matter? Because I'm not because I don't use the lingo. That I don't know
No,
what
I
the
know
vig
you like
is.
Jeff, but
I do like Jeff.
But you don't necessarily like talking about
don't.
the bets of
My
football.
questions are very simple. I have a simple question. Who's the better team on paper? See, that's a layman question.
Okay, well, I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, I would say the Eagles are the better team.
The Eagles are the better team on paper. At least that's what a lot of
And why would that
pros
be?
are
Because I
talking
think to the layman, is Hurts Hurts hurt?
It didn't look like it was last game.
he looked
Obviously,
fine.
you get 2 weeks off now.
How's Saquon? How did you
He's
feel
fine.
about him bouncing back after the massive game?
The Eagles look healthy. They're also getting a defensive line player back. I forgot his name, but he broke his arm, I believe, and he's coming back. And he's clear to play. And I don't know how much use he's gonna get, but he is coming back. So, what do you think, Jeff?
I want to go with the Eagles, but I've learned a very valuable financial lesson the Monday after any time I bet against the Chiefs, especially when they're a short favorite. So as much as I like the Eagles in the game, I'll probably just pass on betting the side because I have a very few limited hard rules, and one is I just don't bet against God when he is taking the field in a big game, and that has kept me from going.
This is the stuff that drives you guys crazy, right?
No, to me, because he says you don't bet against God, and I hate that narrative out there because I want to bet against God. I love betting against God because there is no God.
The quest of this, so to figure this out, though, the quest of what makes you mad about it is the quest is for you to eventually be right. But what does that prove? It proves that truly it's chaos, right?
See,
it proves that you can never.
See, Jeff, that whole narrative of don't bet against Mahomes. He's magic. He's God. He does this every time. I've learned my lesson.
Well, could you make an argument that he's a good enough quarterback to manage a game well enough to win the game under
of course.
any scenario?
I know he's insanely good, and I know he's got the most experience here. But the fact is, winning 3 Super Bowls in a row, there's a reason why no one's ever done it. Is extremely hard.
Yeah,
and
but that doesn't mean it's undoable. When you say things like that, you always say it as if it's 100%, and it's never 100%, which is what always comes to bite you in the ass.
It's not 100%, obviously. Well, that's why I'm kind of like Jeff. I'm a little afraid of betting against Mahomes because I'm going to kick myself in the ass if I lose. But it does make me want to take that narrative and bet against it.
Don't you want to rub it in God's face?
Yes, I do.
Did I get your back
and I want to bet the Eagles because I'm like, just for the fact that it is hard to win 3 Super Bowls in a row. And, things go wrong. Things don't go their way.
I think they're going to do it.
And you can't come back. The Eagles have an insanely good defense. And we saw Patrick Mahomes lose against the Bucs with a good defense. Now their offensive line was hurt.
So you guys hate the things that I say from like an emotional person standpoint. Like what I can add value to this actual discussion is, what if I'm the guy that says the Chiefs are going to win just simply because, and this is what I believe, they have the better team synergy. You hate that stuff, right? Everybody hates that stuff. No, I feel that. Andy Reid, Mahomes, the whole vibe, the way that they run their thing, their fans, I feel like they got the energy.
If you tell me better quarterback, better coach, then I'm like, okay.
Better pizza.
I'm saying, Sirianni and Hurts versus Mahomes
I think they're
Reed.
more comfortable. No. I feel like they're more comfortable. They're more like, they enjoy it more. Anyway, do your thing.
Let's get into some props. I want to run through them. So what do you got first, Jeff?
Well, look, because, again, your listeners are such big fans of all this football, AM sports radio talk, I wanted to focus a little bit on some of the goofier, some of the funner stuff. I've got plenty of stuff going on your regular player props and things. But I've bowed out for years on betting this national anthem because it has just brought me nothing but ruin. But this year, I actually, did a little bit of research as much as you can on it. The last 4 of these have hit the over. But this thing, the time is set pretty high on this. It's basically 2 minutes and 3 seconds is the total. And I'm going to bet the under. This guy who's doing John Batiste, I hope I'm saying that right, it's sort of like a jazz artist, plays piano and all these instruments, but he's done the anthem in the NBA and come in right about 90 seconds. But the biggest thing to me is I like to look at all the sports books for indicators. And there's one particular sports book, they're considered a really sharp book, meaning that they take action from a lot of, heavy hitters out there, and their numbers are considered to be pretty darn good. They've got the under at minus 300. So you'd have to bet $300 to win 100. That tells me they're fairly confident that this thing is going to fly to the under. So I'm trying to jump on this now. It's hard with props because the limits are set so low. But if you're an action junkie like me and Tom, you got 6 different books you can go to and try to spread the money out.
Well, Tom,
but I like the under in the anthem.
Tom seemed to be as soon as you started explaining your bet, he immediately shook his head in disgust of what you were saying, which is what makes the segment fun for me, is seeing how you guys disagree. Personally, I would say with John Batiste or I would say he's being a jazz artist, being highly talented, being the guy's incredible. I was going to take the over.
Well, I will say a couple things. First, I lost a bet with Bovada last year on Reba McEntire because you got to look at the fine print underneath each bet because this year it says from starting note to ending note. It doesn't say from starting verse to the last verse, which makes a difference.
So note meaning note of what?
Piano, because John Batiste is getting. That's also a bet. Is he going to play piano with
Is he
it?
accompanying himself?
Well, there's nothing has been released yet, but I saw a bet like is John Batiste going to come out with a piano, and I'm fairly certain it was.
I think he is.
And then Jeff does bring up a good point with these type of bets where you can know the answer. Like there are people around John Batiste that have seen him practice this, and especially day of when they do a run through, there will be people, janitors or whatever, timing him and then betting the whatever the time comes out to.
Janitors.
And it will anybody around there, and then it will inflate the market one side or the other, and you could follow that money and just bet that side and usually win that time. But look at the fine print because Bovada's got 120 seconds, 120 and a half seconds, and I'm going over. It's at minus 165, and it's been going up all week. So let's get to another national anthem bet that I love. And it's will any player or coach cry during the national anthem? I lost last year.
Well, I lost because I put didn't we collectively do a bet on this?
Yeah, because I
texted you immediately because I saw this fat ass crying on the sideline again.
Chris Jones, so
super talented player, by the way. I shouldn't call him that. He can smash me like a bug.
So Chris Jones screwed me last year by crying during this, even though this
guy's a child. That's a baby.
My theory was that the Chiefs player have been here, the 49. Like last year, I was like, why would anybody cry?
You live at the Super Bowl, buddy.
So then, last playoff game, Chris Jones was crying again during the national anthem. And then I was screaming at my family. I'm like, this MFer lost me money. He's crying again.
ChatGPT told me he cried at that really weird Space Age Bluey episode he cried at.
And then, so for sure, he's going to cry again. He cried last year. He's crying during playoff game national anthems.
He cried when his pecker fell out in the 40-yard dash. Remember that?
2 years ago, Nick Sirianni cried during the national anthem. So between Nick Sirianni and Crybaby Jones, for sure someone's going to cry.
Crybaby Jones is hilarious. That's the name of the show today, Crybaby Jones.
So, I mean, that is a slam dunk. What do you think about that, Sharp Square?
I just remember last year, there's no way any of these people will cry. I'm not emotional, so no one could be emotional.
Oh, people love it when you say that. They love you now.
Well,
you're endearing yourself to our audience right now.
This MFer's been there 5 times or whatever.
There. It's like Brady crying at the Super Bowl.
What is he crying about?
Tom, what makes you think you are the person who should be handicapping emotional response?
That's an excellent. That's a really good point. I should do that.
Listen,
I should
stay in your lane, bro.
Yeah, I should handicap all emotional aspects of betting.
Well, he's crying all the time. He's crying.
Dude, he's gonna cry so hard. He's crying right now in preparation for the Super Bowl.
Although the only bet I could find is on Bovada, and it's already juiced up to minus 500. So good luck with that. There's no money in it.
How do you look yourself in the mirror when you say things like juiced up? That doesn't make you want to not do it.
It's for me and Jeff and like 10 other people.
I understand, but it's like, who's the guy from Rock a Love Bus? It's like the lead, Brett Michaels. It's like Brett Michaels when he says things rock into the mirror. I feel like it shakes his eyeballs.
All right, let's rock it through some of these, Jeff. What else you got?
So I just want to mention this one because it's a good way for people to think about multiple props out there. The silly, what colored Gatorade are they going to dump on the coach? We've talked about this before where they have all sorts of different color bins of Gatorade out there and they're all shut. The players don't know which one has which color. So, they pick one basically at random to dump on the coach.
When I look at Gatorade, I don't see color, okay? I don't see, it's kind of racist.
That's very good and woke of you, Dan. We appreciate that. But in this case, for some reason, purple Gatorade is like the favorite. And I get it. The last 2 Super Bowls the Chiefs have won, the Gatorade was purple, so people are betting purple. But it has nothing to do with anything. It's like seeing the last 2 spins on a roulette wheel were red and assuming the next one will be red.
We might be looking at this wrong. You said the last 2 Super Bowls, the Chiefs have won. The Gatorade is purple.
Yep.
If we can find out if that Gatorade is purple, we'll know if the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl.
No, but he said, but Jeff
It's called reverse engineering. It's just science, guys.
They put multiple colors on the table, and then whatever they grab is rando. That's what Jeff's saying, and the odds are leaning towards purple because people are betting. It's funny because they're only the odds are changed based on the people betting. It has nothing to do with like the sports book randomly changing it to what they want. Right. It's like they change it as the bet goes.
I think people think they get in there and they're like, you know.
They're like, oh, they must know. It's like, no, they're just using the people to change. You know, they're like, oh, people are out betting purple. We're gonna just change the odds as they bet. So you're right.
It doesn't make anything else like necessarily, a go-to. Although I did, again, silly history I've been studying here to prep for the show, guys. But like, orange has been the most used color, and the first time the Chiefs won, it was orange. So I'm not saying I think that that's a stone cold lock bet on orange Gatorade, but you're getting better odds on all the other colors. Clear for you, Daniel, because you don't see color.
Well, I would say
of this disproportionate, allowance of all of the favorites.
So if
being, up the way they are.
So if you were trying to give Tom some information that he would truly value, let's just say I worked at the distribution plant in the city, right, where the Super Bowl's being, played, and I'm in charge of delivering the Gatorade powder to the stadium, and I realized the majority of it, 80% of the Gatorade I'm delivering there is orange powdered Gatorade. That's information that would be useful to you because that would make you think, well, maybe there's a little more orange out there than there is any other color. That's the type of stuff you like looking for, right?
Yeah. Also, it's not like there's people guarding those.
They should guard the Gatorade.
The Gatorade, so the players can't see. You could easily just go and look and see it. And the players know that there's bets on this, so it's like they for sure talk about they aren't betting themselves, but they're like, hey, we're gonna.
They show Hey Ohtani. Yeah, I believe they do that.
No,
I believe everybody does that
because you can't even bet that much. The most you can bet is $100.
Yeah, but I still think they're doing it. I still think they're
nothing.
Doing it.
It's
all right. Let's go to another one.
Okay, I like this one because I can't see Kendrick Lamar doing this, but there's a bet if Kendrick Lamar will specifically mention Drake during the Super Bowl. And if you look at the fine print, it says he has to actually mention him by name, not just song, because there's other prop bets about what kind of Drake song he'll sing, whatever, not like
which one of the retaliatory
the diss tracks and how many he'll sing, but this one
I thought you were being a dumb old man where you're like, I don't know which Drake song Kendrick's gonna sing.
If he's specifically gonna say Drake's name at some time during the Super Bowl, and I'm like, there's no way, and the odds are only minus 260 on Bovada right now. Some of the books don't even have this. Like, I know everybody's using Hard Rock, but Hard Rock doesn't have, as far as I can see, a lot of these goofy bets that are the funner ones. But if you do have Bovada, I bet the max on he's not mentioning Drake's name because I can't see him doing that.
Why would the NFL want that?
The NFL doesn't want that. He's not. Why give Drake the promotion in the Super Bowl? Why bring that up when it's your time? You know what I'm saying? It's like a distraction.
True.
So it seems like Kendrick Lamar would never even go into that. Maybe, obviously, one of the popular songs because
I'll say it again.
But he's not going to say like, oh, screw you, Drake.
Yeah, I'll say it again. I don't think he should perform that song there. I really believe that. And
he may not.
I don't think he should because I feel like that is such a... It wasn't exactly
negative.
It is a fun song, but it's not fun in the idea of like, hey, let's put it on like all party. It's not like celebrate. I know that's a white thing to say, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's just not. I don't need that there. It's a song about Drake being a pedophile.
The only problem about betting against that is because it's so popular and people want to hear it that they may, you know what I'm saying? So I'm staying away from that. But mentioning him by name, he's not doing that. I don't think.
I don't think he is.
What do you think, Jeff?
Who's Kendrick Lamar?
No, he doesn't. Jeff's a sports nerd.
Yeah, sorry.
I feel like such an old man with this stuff. He's also performing with somebody who I just saw the name written down, and I'm like, I don't even know how to pronounce that. I'm not even going to try.
SZA?
I moved on. Sure.
Yeah.
Is it SZA?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great song. So they're going to do the the one that they do together. Okay, that's a fa.
He announced SZA is going to be.
That's a good little track. Yeah, I like that song.
What else you got?
Here's the one that I might end up just retiring from betting after this because it's so ridiculous, and I know that I'll be yelling at my TV if this loses. But Travis Kelce to display heart hands on the broadcast. And hear me out on this one, Tom, because I did some math for this one. So, if you are going to beckon to a religion, I know this is the one you'd want to. So last week or 2 weeks ago in the championship game, he scores a touchdown and he does the heart hands. So my thought was, well, what are the odds that he doesn't score a touchdown and hence won't get the opportunity to do that? So his anytime touchdown to the no is minus 145. But will he not do the heart hands is plus 350. So I feel like this is a good way to just bet on Travis Kelce not scoring a touchdown. But instead of betting $145 to win 100, you could bet 100 to win $350. Now that's assuming you could get that much money down on something so ridiculous. But it was just one of those ones that kind of stood out to me that it was under a category of the Taylor Swift prop. And it was just the only one that was sort of plus money that I said, yeah, just because he did this one time, I don't think any time old Travis gets a first down, he's going to be, doing heart hands towards the camera there on
Christine said she put money down on Travis giving a Elon Musk Nazi salute after a touchdown. Where did you find that, Christine? You're having text me, send me. She put money on that.
Yeah,
that would flip his
mine
whole
is
image.
$850.
That would truly flip his image if he did that, right? That would really
one Nazi salute.
Yeah, oh my God, that would change how we think about it.
What about a Nazi heart hand?
I don't even know how you do that. Yeah, my heart. I don't even
you
know.
kind of
Yeah. Don't do that.
It's a flat. You'd have to do a flat.
It's like two
downward
hearts,
heart.
and then your hands
jet
launch
out
off your chest. Yeah.
I agree with
To
you.
the sky.
Also, if they're behind in any time in the game and he scores a touchdown, he's definitely not doing hard hands. You're not going to do that.
You don't have time for
you
that
know what I'm saying?
crap,
Yeah. And
even,
so if it's close.
Sometimes, I've seen him, and
You'd
he
have
is
to
a real
blowout.
football player. They'll ask him,
Yeah.
sometimes you see him get irritated, and they ask him
I know.
questions, and he's like,
I've got an actual good one that has a game day instead of a little bit more, a little more serious, less goofy.
He thinks this one's better than yours, is what he's saying.
I've got total fourth down conversions. I found this on Bovada, and the over 2.5 is at plus 115. That's an entire game, both teams, and so I love that bet at plus 115.
You've never said you love anything.
Because especially with Jalen Hurts and Philadelphia with the tush push and everything, it seems like they're good for 2 4th and 1s that are almost automatic.
More.
Or goal line.
They do that all the time.
And I like this bet too because everybody has screwed up the shortest touchdown distance because everybody now realizes that that's a good bet to bet under 1.5 yards.
Right.
Because you get
the goal line.
Pass interference in the end zone, you get the ball at the 1, and then with the tush push, it's almost a guarantee. But the juice on that is like minus 180 or something now, so there's no value in it. But I like over 2.5 for the entire game, fourth down conversions. What do you think about that, Jeff?
Yeah, it makes sense with what you're saying because a lot of those numbers are just based on averages. But when you have a team like Philadelphia that goes for it so much on fourth down and is so successful with that particular play that I refuse to say the name of it because I think it's too silly. I don't understand. Philadelphia is the city of brotherly love, and you came up with brotherly shove. That's so clever. Why would you ever go with the other name that you said? It's just one of those things that bothers me.
It's a sexier name.
The brotherly shove is as stupid.
Stupid.
I've said it both. I hate both of them.
Okay.
I hate
Fair
both
enough,
of them.
Equal or as stupid.
Would you accept a few of the other names that I've heard? One of them is windsurfing on Mount Baldy. And then the other one I've heard is canoeing downstream with Abe Lincoln.
Call it the ash shove.
No, you can't call it that. Call it why don't we call it the fudge pack? Let's just call it the fudge pack.
I've got another stupid bet that I'm curious of what Daniel thinks about this. So, what outfit will Jason Kelsey wear? Will it be neutral?
No, he's going to wear that stupid little thing his wife picked out for him where he looks like the mayor of an old west town where he has a burgundy. He's going to have a burgundy little vest and then a coat and then the little pocket watch chain and then the little Applejack hat. We've all seen him wear this and he looks ridiculous.
Okay, well, that means he's dressed neutral because basically the bet is he going to wear something Eagles or Chiefs or neutral?
Now, he did already come out and say he's rooting for his brother. So
will he wear a Kansas City?
I can't see him.
Something.
No,
like,
he's too proud. He's too proud of his accomplishment as a broadcaster.
And he'll get too much flack from the Eagles fans, right? Because he's been an Eagle for so long.
Yeah, he won't want to do that.
So neutral is probably the best bet.
He's going to dress like a fool.
Neutral is 160 plus 164. That's a pretty good bet. If Daniel's correct in his line of thinking that he's going to just be new, I would lean that way too.
He dressed he'll look like a little Peaky Blinders.
Because now that he's in the media, what good is it to piss off either the Kansas City fans or the Eagles fans? You have a successful podcast, you need to make money.
What
you
does
wear
neutral mean? If he wears a red vest to show his allegiance to his brother, is that neutral?
Yeah, that's an iffy one. Did you read the fine print on that one?
The fine print, it says it has to. I believe it said it has to be official. License.
Then he'll be fine.
It has to be something team. It can't just be color.
He's
got a little red in his tie.
No, he's gonna do that. My prediction would be, I could be wrong, but I think he's gonna dress like a Peaky Blinders weirdo. And red to a little love to his brother.
Yeah, just like
no green. He's not gonna. He's not gonna.
A politician, he may wear his tie may be red to show hey, I'm with you, but he's not gonna.
Now, let's say you dress as Peaky Blinders, and then on his lapel, he has a tiny Kansas City Chiefs pen.
No, but that, again, why piss off your audience? Because there's a lot of Eagles fans and his podcast are not.
I can't see him doing it. No, talk myself out of it.
Anyway, what do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, that one all comes down to fine print. You said officially licensed gear. So if he wears a shirt that says Philadelphia spelled with an F, I guess that doesn't count. Like team colors, that just seems very iffy. I don't think he would. He was a loyal Philadelphia guy, played there forever. I seriously doubt he wears something Chiefs gear, but maybe a little something for the Birds. But that's just one of those ones that you guys just brought up so many good questions on how you could argue that you don't win your bet on that one. That I wouldn't trust the bookmaker to pay me on it. But you are getting pretty good odds on it.
I'm talking myself out of it a little further now. Easier to make up for your brother. You always hurt the people you love the most. It'd be easier for him to wear an Eagles outfit than it would be for him to do anything Chiefs. Anything at all. You see what I'm saying? Because he still
because
can
he played
he loves
for the Eagles,
his brother.
Yeah.
He loves his brother. That'll never change. Yeah, he won't do
it. But then I go back to neutral because why even do that? Because then again, now his job is media influencer.
Yeah.
So just don't.
Brady's a media influencer. He owns part of a team.
Yeah, I know.
Nothing matters.
Any more last bets, Jeff? You want to throw out there?
Yeah, I want to ask Dan what he thinks this bet means that I bet at 12-1. I bet yes on the octopus. Dan, what do you think that means?
Yes on the octopus. I'm guessing that is a very, very hard bet to hit. It has it's got 6 or 8 different conditions that you have to have in order to make your octopus smile. And to win the bet.
I thought you would have a much more degenerate answer for that, but that's okay. It simply means that a player will score a touchdown, and then they'll go for 2, and that same player will get the 2-point conversion.
Oh, that's called the octopus?
That's called the octopus, because you're basically getting accredited with all 8 points there. I just like this on sort of piggybacking Tom's theory about the shortest touchdown being 1.5 yards, or Philadelphia running the sneaks on 4th down. Very likely that either Jalen Hurts or Saquon Barkley runs one in, and if they go for 2, that they would call the same number. So do I think this is wildly likely to happen? Not necessarily, but I'm getting such good odds on it at 12-1 that because this kind of fits Philly's style a little bit better, I decided to throw a little money on it.
I looked at that bet. It is pretty square, though, Jeff. I didn't know you're the sharp square, but it's very.
Well, I got to hit both sides. I got to have both sides in there, Tom. It can't all be sharp.
I never hit both sides. I only hit one side.
It's very unlikely, but I do agree there may be value into Hurts maybe doing 2 tush pushes and getting both touchdown
Don't
and
get
the
a
2
hemorrhoid.
or like you said, you're definitely on Philly's side more than Kansas City.
For sure.
No, we lose you?
Nope, nope, you didn't lose me. I was just
My
really
God, you bored yourself.
your safety right there.
It's a joke. You put yourself to sleep, Jeff.
Any last other bets that you see? I like Kareem Hunt's under rushing yards of 45.5.
I like Kareem on the Cobb better.
Because of Pacheco. Even though he hasn't been playing.
I should have said Hunt on the Cobb was the joke. I screwed it up.
But you do have dual running backs of Kansas City that you could use that would probably take rushing yards away from each other. Anything else, Jeff?
I like the anytime touchdowns for you. Just find somebody on the Chiefs who hasn't had a touchdown in 8 weeks, because Andy Reid's just the kind of guy who's going to have that secret play drawn up on the back of a napkin. As long as he didn't wipe his mouth after eating his chicky nuggies. He's going to have some play to some guy who you completely forgot about, like a DeAndre Hopkins or that fullback steal, and you can get some pretty good odds on those things. If I do bet the game, I would probably look to an alternate line for the Eagles. I know this might not make that much sense, but I would take the Eagles to win the game by 7, because if the game is super close, I don't feel comfortable about it. But if the Eagles are going to win the game, I think it's probably because they at some point jump out to a big lead in the game, and you get a little bit better odds on your return. So if you do dare to bet against the Chiefs, at least you get a little bit more of a payout. But that's just a maybe, depending on what kind of numbers I can get.
Isn't that reflected in the normal odds? It's first half it's heavy Eagles, and then second half is almost heavy Chiefs.
Because of
the way the teams play.
Because of how many times the Chiefs have come back to win these type of games.
So they're kind of expecting that, I guess.
But Jeff's exactly right. It's looking at ways you can find value outside the norm, and if the Eagles do win, you're saying there could be a bit better chance of them winning by over a touchdown, especially if they get up, because then they could just run the ball and be in control.
I'm sure that's what they want to do.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, get up a touchdown or 2 and then just have Saquon run it down their throats.
And now that I think about it, Jeff, I keep going back to you not betting against God and that whole narrative.
You're going to apologize to him now?
And I will not apologize.
Okay.
I will and am going to bet against God,
okay,
because
right.
now that convinced me to take the Eagles in the Super Bowl, and I will bet.
Tom, why are you betting against me?
Well, it's not even you, God. It's more of they call him Patrick Mahomes God.
Yeah. He's not God. He's not God.
And so, although, Jeff, what do you think? Do you think the NFL would rather have the Chiefs have a three-peat and win it 3 times in a row, or do you think internally that they don't want them to win 3 times in a row?
That's a great question. I was trying to figure this out myself. For me, I think doing the impossible almost proves that it can be done.
It seems to diminish the competitiveness of the sport, or although it does create an instant villain that they like, and
Manchester United or Manchester City in EPL. Yeah. You look over there, you've got the teams that have only won it, and all the other teams never win it, and it does create a good villain.
I go back and forth because I'm I could see it helping the NFL and them liking the narrative. Of course, then
it's hard for me to not like Andy Reid, though.
You have, everybody does like Andy Reid. You got Taylor Swift. She's going to be on the field celebrating with Jason.
It's only trendy to say Travis. You hate the Chiefs, right? I have no reason to hate the Chiefs at all. None. I know that the chat room's going to try to eat me up with that, but they know in their hearts there's really no reason.
I know, yeah.
You hate them. I get it. You can hate. I hate Tom Brady. I hate John Krasinski from The Office.
But just because they're good.
It's just because they're like they're squeaky clean, or I don't trust them or something. But you have no reason to hate the Chiefs, but everybody does because they're killing it.
But then on the other end, there's a story of like, oh, the Eagles, they won it. They finally defeated the Chiefs.
And they're actually, and their fan base is actually terrible human beings.
And it could looking at it, you're right.
And we like the way we're like we're gonna let, this is just like the way the world is now, right? We let the terrible people, we have to have the terrible people win. So based on that, then the guy that yelled at the lady and the battery throwers, they should win.
And then next year, like, there's the narrative of like, oh, the Chiefs they want revenge. They're going to try to come back and win, and win another Super Bowl. What do you think?
I think as usual with the printing press of money that is the NFL, they really can't lose here. History and dynasties is always a good thing for sports in general because you remember those teams. They have legacy. I think it would be a cool thing to see a team in this day and age be able to get 3 in a row.
I do too.
But it's mixed with the Chiefs, though, and probably this would happen to any team that was in position to win a third. There's a little bit of Kansas City fatigue out there for lots of reasons. All the Taylor Swift stuff, all the guys being in all the commercials in your face all the time. I don't want to get into a sidebar about the officiating, but there's all sorts of reasons that they have become somewhat the villain. So it might be best for the NFL if somebody else did win just to relieve that fatigue. But it probably would have been better if it was one of the more up-and-coming teams like maybe Washington or Detroit. Yeah. I don't know if people are too nuts about Philly either, as you've mentioned, their fan base. So I think either way, the NFL will keep printing money, and there's a good narrative to spin whatever happens on Sunday.
Well, Jeff, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us today. Yeah. Again, you can listen to Jeff's podcast, The Sharp Square, anywhere podcasts are heard.
You got any special food for the big game that you're cooking up, Jeff, or are you going to sit there and alone and blood-eye it with some McDonald's?
No, I don't. The wife will be cooking. I will be nowhere near the kitchen. But I know even if she bases it on one of the teams in play, whatever we eat will be fantastic. But I will be too busy getting intoxicated and yelling at the TV because Travis Kelce is making hard hands.
There you go. There you go. All right, buddy. Well, hey, thanks for doing this, man. We love talking to you, okay?
Thank you. I always appreciate when you guys have me on. It's great, and I appreciate it.
We know that it's the highlight of your year, and you know what? I'm going to keep letting you do it.
See you, Jeff.
All right. See you guys later.
Later, man. I like that guy. He's awesome.
So you were talking about smoking something for Super Bowl?
I'm glad that you said that. Man, we've been like LinkedIn lately because he said that his wife is going to decide what to eat based on one of the – and this is a good year. All those complainers saying, I don't want Philly. I don't want Kansas City. Nah, dog. These are two of the best eating teams we could have gotten. You can either do Philly cheesesteaks or you can do barbecue. This is fantastic. Both of these teams have killer things to eat.
The excitement for Super Bowl commercials is dead, right? No one cares anymore, right?
Yeah. That's why they released that stupid Billy Crystal, Meg Ryan. They redid their When Harry Met Sally thing. And Meg Ryan, I'm not even going to comment on her looks. She is who she is. Everybody ages, but she doesn't look like the Meg Ryan that I remember because, I said I wasn't going to comment on it. Anyway, they're doing the thing again, and they released it like 2 weeks early because it's like I feel like every year we come back around and we're like we're going to do the commercial this year, and then right before the Super Bowl, everybody gets nervous. It's like, nah, we're not going to get our value. Release it early. That's what it feels like to me.
What's crazy?
Does it feel like that to you?
Yes, I mean the actually debuting it on the Super Bowl
used to be
cool. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's a thing anymore.
And it used to be there's no secrets. It used to be that the Meg Ryan.
You couldn't see it until that night.
Yeah, well, you didn't even know about it. Like, it wasn't. You'd wake up the next day, and then USA Today would like they'd outline all of them, and then you'd go and you'd find them. And you check them out.
And now the celebrities are even like Antonio Banderas is like releasing. He's putting out on social media like him filming the Super Bowl commercial. Right. So it's no surprise. Also, for the fact that no one really cares anymore, it's weird that the Super Bowls are more expensive than ever. And they released the $7 million per 30-second ad, which it just keeps going up every year. And so it just shows you how many live people are watching this and how rare that is nowadays. And the fact that so many people are watching it live, it's just the commercials are just keep going up and up. And I wonder when it hits a plateau, but we haven't seen it yet. You know, like in 10 years, does it go back down where like it peaks at 8-9 million?
Well, then do
go
you
back
change
down?
the game, or is the game forever stuck with TV timeouts?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're not changing that because they need
but
the
the
money.
pacing could change. I mean, like if they privatize it somehow where I was paying for my football.
And you're paying without commercials?
Sign me up, dude. You mean I get a shorter game, no TV timeouts or commercials? The game is the game. Keep it the same. Don't make it too crazy. I get a sped up experience, and then when they do have to cut for regular viewership, I just get the live feed of the field. I want that. I want that right now. I would pay for that for every sport I watch. I would pay for that.
Well, I heard a podcast the other day talk about now the NFL. Obviously they played a game on Netflix, right? And you know how the NFL has forever been trying to, expose their product to different countries, and that's why we play in Europe and Mexico, Brazil.
Yeah.
And now they're because they want to get on broadcast over there.
On Monday, they started kicking around a European league. Did you see that?
No, really?
That was a headline, yeah.
It's
in its infancy, don't get me wrong, but they started kicking that around.
But if you just want the world to consume your product, you put it on Netflix because the world has Netflix.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? But the problem with that, too, is you don't have the local broadcasting and advertising that the way to make money, And when I don't know if you watched that game that was on Netflix this year.
Yeah, I did.
But they played commercials.
Yeah.
And so
it was exactly the same
to
me.
But those commercials were, you'd have to start getting into IP address, like who's downloading it and what local commercials. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna turn into back the way it was, where you get the national commercials, and then there's a small. There's each spot break. There's a couple local that locals can buy. They've done that for every year, so. You'd have to, it'd be a huge process changing it over because there's so much local broadcasting, and but it's going that way.
I think it is going to go that way.
The streaming, and then it's going to be super complicated how they, distribute those rights and stuff.
AI is going to do it.
AI
is going to be routing everything. It's wild.
But anyway,
that was fun. Yeah, thanks for setting that up, dude. I love talking to that guy.
We're all going to be watching on Sunday, and like I said, my prediction is Philly wins.
Okay.
And God loses.
Okay.
And I'm going to put my money where my mouth
is.
I'll take
KC just for the fun, and I'm a big fan of Andy Reid.
Okay.
I'm gonna shave my beard and just leave my mustache. In solidarity.
That's all right.
Yeah, small Andy. Little Andy.
And I will cook and eat one of my shoes if I lose on the air. All right. Bye-bye.